We'll start in probably about 2 seconds. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. And again, Yoshina Copa Bradford from South Metro Democratic Women bringing you another interview. Today, we will be interviewing Dr. Sandra Wright. And our interviewer today will be Mrs. Hattie Portis Jones from South Metro Democratic Women. I'm going to get us started. And just to make sure, Dr. Wright, excuse me, you'll be running for Fulton County School Board District 4. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So just to get us started, I'm going to get you warmed up for Miss Hattie Portis Jones. And tell us the responsibility for that position and what area of that district is District 4.
First of all, District 4 includes Union City, Palmetto, Chattahoochee Hills, City of South Fulton, and portions of College Park. Can you hear? Did you hear me?
I did. And what's the responsibility for the school board that you're running for that position?
One of the main responsibilities is to propose policies and procedures for the district. That is one of the main responsibilities. And the hiring of our superintendent for schools. He will be our only employee. Can you hear me?
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Wright. It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to chat with you today about why you are running for the school board. You listed the number of cities that are included in the district, and Fairburn is also one that's included.
I thought I said Fairburn.
Okay, yes.
I thought I said Fairburn, but I'm not sure.
Okay, yes. No problem. Just wanted to make sure that for the record. So tell us, why are you running?
Well, one of the main reasons I'm running is because I see, and I have seen a lot of inequity and inequality in our district. Also, I've seen that in our district, there are low literacy rates. And we need to really get on board with that if we are to produce productive citizens. Literacy really matters. And I want to be a part of assisting in increasing literacy and in closing the achievement gap for Fulton County District 4.
And what would you do differently that has not been done? How do you think you're able to accomplish the plan you have in place to increase literacy?
Well, one of the things I would like to do is maybe include more of the community, our community folks. There are a lot of people, and when I say this, there are a lot of people that are really anxious to be a part of this. But also, when I look at some of our young males who are scoring very low in the literacy part, maybe partnering with some of the churches to bring their, right now, everything is online. So once it reopens, maybe bringing some of our community members, especially some of our males in there that can actually stop and read with the kids and kind of mentor some of these young boys and young girls. Maybe bringing in some other retired teachers that can come in and that can volunteer and help with closing the achievement gap, as well as sponsoring literacy programs or literacy fund events, those kinds of things, with the assistance of the superintendent.
And are there dollars allocated to focus on that type of programming?
Well, right now what we can do is reinvest some of the dollars that we already have that may be going to another part of the county. But with that in mind, I'm looking for a lot of volunteers. So it may not have to be a lot of money that we have to put out there, because if we have volunteers that's really committed to our community and really committed to our boys and girls in this district, I think they would be more than happy to step up, because I've seen so many people do it already.
And I wanted to ask you, I think it's timely when we began this interview, I'm trying to set up. You talked about the internet access and the fact that you live in a quasi-rural area where, yes, the internet is not as strong and the quality. So I'm sure you have neighbors, and there are children who live in areas just like yours who may be challenged with now this online education. So what do you propose to do to assist those students and to ensure that they have equitable access to equipment, to a strong internet access, so that they don't have to be concerned about bandwidth and about being interrupted in the middle of a class?
Well, first of all, bringing more hotspots in. There's a school that's not that far from me, and I know that they have a hotspot set up in their area. So bringing more hotspots maybe closer to this rural area. But right now, our city council is working on getting more bandwidth. They're working on it right now to get a better quality internet system right now, because right now there's only one internet system in my area right now, and they have kind of cornered the market. So we're trying to expand that in the city council, and we're really trying to expand that. But just by bringing more hotspots in the area, most definitely assist some of the students in the rural area where I live.
And what city council is that?
The city council I'm talking about is City of Chattahoochee Hills.
City of Chattahoochee Hills. And then, so what about other municipalities that are in your district? Have you had conversations with them, or what would you propose to?
Well, I don't think they're having the problems that we're having right now, but I will certainly talk to more of them. I have talked to several other people that not necessarily on the council, but they've not had any problems with their internet at this point. And I have talked to several of them.
So online access is very important, and you talked about what you would do to move the district to the next level for that. What are some other ideas that you propose in moving the district from where it is now to where it needs to be? And could you define where you think it needs to be?
Well, that's a good question. Moving forward, and as I said, I'm really, really into literacy and promoting literacy in our community. And so one of the things I would like to do is talk with more of, and the reason I'm saying this, talk to more of our clergy people. And the reason I say that, because you can get a wider gap of more people by talking to them, because they can talk to their parishioners. And so when they're online, some of the pastors in our neighborhood, when they're online right now, because everybody's mostly online, there are a few churches that are not, talking with them and asking them about what their concerns are for our children and how they can help, and actually talk with their parishioners when they're online about what we're trying to do: increase literacy, closing the achievement gap, making sure that our kids are asking their parishioners, do they have quality hotspot, quality internet access? That's one of the ways that I really want to move forward with it, because they have a bigger audience.
And in that vein, how would you increase parental engagement?
That's one way, by talking to the parishioners. But also, I would like to have, when we have, when a school board they have a school board meeting, then they have the community meetings. And with that in mind, I would like to have the community meetings, if we continue to have this online, and maybe we could have them later in the afternoon, instead of maybe at 6 o'clock, maybe we could start at 7 o'clock. That way, some of the parents can be home and they can listen in on the community meetings and discuss any issues and challenges that they may have. Because right now, well, in the past, when before the pandemic was here, a lot of the parents, it always started like 6:30, but then there were parents that were just getting home. And so they were kind of rushing and couldn't get there. But then again, we still have to utilize what we have. Maybe by utilizing this online Zoom presence, we can maybe more people, more parents can be engaged instead of just the parents that are always engaged. Maybe we have a handful, maybe 50 or so that come to some of the community meetings. But by expanding it online, we possibly can have double that or triple that.
So could you talk about what you've done thus far in that arena? Your network of working with the ministers and the churches, your network or your various programs and projects in working with parents in the district?
Well, one of the things that I have been doing is, since I've been campaigning, actually, a lot of people do a lot of things on social media. And as I'm campaigning, I just recently, last week, I met with a group of teachers who were also parents in this area. They were teachers in this area and they were parents in this area. And as I was going about putting down a yard sign, actually, I found out the person that I was requesting to put down the yard sign was a teacher. And she asked me to have her other neighbors come out who were also teachers. So we actually had a roundtable discussion with some of the teachers. There were about 6 teachers in the area. It's a subdivision, very nice subdivision. And we actually started talking about the concerns they had about going back to school and bringing their kids back, and just an overall conversation about how we could do this, how we could do it effectively. And some of them were very nervous about coming back to school, and I can understand that. And they were saying some of their teachers are they're older, they're about to retire, so they will be afraid for them too as well. So we took a look at that, and we had just basically talking. I also have talked to several bus drivers. I had a conference call with some bus drivers. There were about 7 or 8 of them, and they were asking about moving forward with going back to school. And I shared with them some information about how they're going to phase this in, maybe, I guess, 8 to 10 students on the bus, and maybe a little bit more than that. But we're gonna have to really look at that and work with that, and talk with Dr. Looney and possibly his team, and maybe add some more people to that team to make these decisions as well.
So the 4th district, and any of the districts that are south of I-20 are really different than the districts that are north of I-20. What do you perceive those differences to be, and what is your plan of action to ensure the equitableness of District 4 with northern districts?
Well, the northern district, and when I hear that, I kind of cringe, because I wish it was considered one unified district. We said North Fulton County, South Fulton County school districts. I like the word unified, but in the north, as you may already know, there are a lot of homes there. There are a lot of people that have 6-figure incomes. A lot of them have 6-figure incomes, and so their houses are 6-7-figure incomes. In South Fulton County, in my particular district, the income levels are not as high. There are many times when people don't even work. They just have food stamps or getting some other aid for their children. So there's not a one-size-fits-all answer to that. But I would like to make sure that some of the, like, say for instance, there are a lot of warehouses coming in our area, especially in Union City and South Fulton. And to meet with some of these people to see if we can give our people more jobs. And I'm not saying just warehouse jobs. I want them to bring some higher level paying jobs to our district. I don't want all of their people that are making 6 figures or more to come from North Fulton County, Gwinnett County, or other areas. I would like to talk with them and have some of our parents get together with them, our council people get together with them, our ministers, and talk about how we can get more jobs on this side of town with all these new warehouses. Because right now I'm looking at another warehouse that's just getting ready to be built too. I don't know what the warehouse is going to be. I don't know what the company is, but can we get more jobs on this side of town that are paying 50, 60, 70, $80,000 for one position instead of maybe the $9, $10, $12 an hour position? Because we have a lot of those right now. We have McDonald's. McDonald's is hiring like crazy. Target, these people are hiring, but they're hiring $9 and $10 jobs. And if you're a single parent, it's even hard to live off $15 an hour, especially if you have 4 or 5 kids and you're a single parent. So just maybe uplifting that and bringing more jobs to this area that with increased rates or with increased salaries.
So thank you for that response. Our time is drawing near. So I wanted to just give you the opportunity to tell us why you should be the one elected to the position to represent the 4th District on the Fulton County School Board.
Well, as I quote Teddy Roosevelt, you may have never heard this quote, no one cares about how much you know until they know how much you care. And I care for this community. I've been in the trenches here for over 20 years. I recently saw one of my students, and he came up to me and he said, do you remember me? And I looked at him because it had been a while, because I did a long-term sub, and all of my students would, at least 75 to 85% of them had gone on to college. And he said to me, you cared about me. You cared enough that you saw that I was coming to school. I did eat. I guess you saw that I wasn't eating right. And it was graduation time. He was getting ready to graduate from 5th grade. And I went up to him and I said, you know what size do you wear? And he said, why? I said, I want to make sure that you are just like everybody else because you're one of our young kings. And he smiled. He said, I remember that. And I told all of my family members how wonderful you are and how I really want you to be a part of the school board because you make sure that we have what we need to have here. You went out and purchased me a shirt, a tie, and a pair of pants. And then he said, I remember every day after school, we would go to the cafeteria and make sure I took home some food to eat because a lot of times the only meal I had was breakfast and lunch from that particular school. He said, but because you cared enough, that's why I'm going to vote for you. I'm going to make sure everybody else votes for you because you care about the kids, you care about equality, you care about food, you care about everything that's necessary to make and grow a good and young mind.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. Caring is absolutely important. I agree that that's the basis for what we do. And so thank you for sharing that story. Any other closing remarks?
Because I care, I need your vote in early voting or your mailing ballot or on August 11th. You can't go wrong when you vote right. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Dr. Wright. So that ends our interview.